Hello, I'm the normal playing guy, and you are a lovely, lovely audience. So there's a lot to unpack in today's video, and hey, we're going to jump into. No, we do not talk about this guy just yet. He does not arrive until May 8th. He doesn't exist. No, today's video we're going to be doing these free-to-play units right here. So we're going to be jumping on this guy, and we're going to be jumping on Super Saiyan 3. Now, where is this guy? Because he drops as a standalone LR. Well, you get him from Battlefield. He's the latest Battlefield, coming in at close to 500,000 points, from like 480,000 points. Utter ridiculous. So let's have a look to see if these are worth spending your money on. Well, your hard-earned Battlefield gems on. Then there's this guy who is one of the oldest free-to-play units, period. So let's see how he goes. So, funny enough, we're on this guy then. So, he finally has his awakening. You know, I think, is he not the only unit as well that changes typing? So, he starts off as a tech, goes to AGL, goes back to tech, goes to Super Saiyan 2, and then finally ends up on Super Saiyan 3. You can see the evolution. Like, this guy came out in 2015 when this came out like a couple of months after this game was launched. He had his awakening effective immediately. And then he didn't have this. Oh, no, he did also have his Super Saiyan effect. So he could turn him into a Super Saiyan. By the way, this particular step is what you need to complete the Warrior's Greatest Battle thing, which is what new players must now do. So new players, you'll face a grid of what to do, and farming this guy, who I believe drops as this guy actually straight away. I think this guy no longer exists. And then you got to get into Super Saiyan. So then he awakens a year later as a Super Saiyan 2, and then he awakens a year later as a Super Saiyan 3. And then now, this 7 years later, he's got this. So quite an evolution. Okay, so let's have a look. We have Kamehameha 77%, fine, and Tech Type 50%. That's fine. So if you're rocking the Quest, that's fine. It's dead easy to do. And even you could even run this in stage 1 of Battlefield, or even stage 2 as a sub lead, right? I mean, that's fine. So previously he had that. But now it's hard to imagine what you get from this. Then you have this. Anyway, we get 130% to start of turn stats, no matter what. 50% chance to have an attack plus 180%, which is pretty good. It's a 50-50, but basically 200% attack is really nice. You get 130% to stats on super attack. Your super attack effect, 50% raise to attack and defense with a 50% chance to stun. That's actually really good. You have a 30% chance to dodge, period, and if you're 60% or more at the start of the turn, you get an additional 30%. So 60% or more HP, you get 60% chance to dodge, under you get 30. That's really nice. That's actually a pretty solid unit. Key 3, super effective against all types when there's a Kamehameha or Majin Buu Saga ally in the same turn. Okay, that's probably likely to happen. You think Kamehameha Majin Buu Saga with this guy, you're going to be rocking, in sense, Kamehameha really unit, isn't it? So that's just period. Not bad in terms of links as well. Golden Warrior is pretty nice. Super Saiyan Kamehameha is going to be pretty common, as well as Fierce Battle. Over in the Flash and Limit Breaking form, you'll find very much a plenty on the stuff like Super Saiyan 3, Time Limit, Accelerator, Battle, and Final Trump. Now, the Blazing Battle is something specifically only for the Broly event on I think the first Dokkan events, Broly. Yeah, you needed this. This now is irrelevant, considering you can now one-shot that stage. But at the time, it's there. So this is largely useless. Okay, but having these keen attack links is huge. So as you think about it on paper, having 130%, doubling it on super attack with a 50% raise and a 50% chance to stun is really nice. Having, in essence, 60% chance to dodge is, well, having 3 key in the super excellent effect with a Kamehameha ally on the team, which is fairly often. He seems like a fantastic unit on paper. And you know what? Even though he's the oldest free-to-play unit, period, he's actually not so bad. That's actually legitimate. Coming in at 100% is the only real way we can look at him because he is free to play. Coming in with basically 9,000 defense is more than any banner unit that's come out. In fact, you know the type support Easy A's, they don't have this. So it's nice to see that that's actually no joke coming in at 9,000. Tech Ultimate Gohan has 9,000 at, I think, 90 or 100%. So coming in with this is really nice. 13,500 attacks, pretty solid for a free-to-play unit, and 15,000 health is pretty good. Seriously, the stats are okay, if not good, for these units. I've seen a lot worse. I've seen Easy A units with 6,500, 7,000 defense and 10,000 attack. And I've seen modern day banner units with less than this. So honestly, that's actually not so bad. Factoring the attack links you can get to help buff is not bad. The teams that you can have. You think he has a 50% chance to stun with a 60% chance to dodge. That alone gives you quite a good bit of flexibility to stick him in where you want. So what are the teams he's good on? Well, let's point out some of the more obvious ones. Super Saiyan 3. Mastered Evolution, Turtle School, Time Limit, Accelerated Battle, Connected Hope, Overworld Warriors, Resurrected Warriors. Now, these two are a current mission for the current new Infinite History. You got to use 3 of this and 3 of this. Whether you do it one at a time, you can rely on both. Now, what would be a fantastic partner for this guy? Well, it's going to be this guy. Overworld Warriors is 170. It is 170% for Overworld Warriors. Or, yeah, it is. I can't remember if it's Super Saiyan 3 or Overworld Warriors, but one of them is getting 150, one of them is getting 170. But point is, this guy will transform pretty quick. This guy's okay. You need at least 3 orbs to get the extra stats, and then with 6 orbs he gets a chance to dodge, which comes into play more so these days than ever. But giving him the 3 orbs helps. This is really nice. They'll share basically everything. They're good on basically everything. Overworld, Resurrected, Connected, Accelerated, Turtle, Mastered, Super Saiyan 3. Could be really, really good. He is a Super Saiyan 3 lead. We're also talking, I mean, just look at the roster of Super Saiyan 3s. God. I mean, this guy, because he's Angel and this guy's not, he even supports this guy in the most insane of ways. Look at the attack stats you can get. That's ridiculous. The strongest Super Saiyan 3. Hell, the brand new Super Saiyan 3. You can, yeah, honestly, the power from Super Saiyan 3 this year is ridiculous. LR Super Saiyan 3, also perhaps pound for pound, one of the more stronger ones. Also Super Tech, it looks like, and you can get quite a good amount of stats over quite a good amount of teams. This guy having his dodge, this guy has damage reduction under his 18 key. I mean, altogether, it's really, really good. Super Saiyan 3 is becoming well fleshed out, so that's pretty great. Now, realistically, it is Super Saiyan 3 that's got this. There's these, but that's technically Super Saiyan 3 when they transform. Because of stuff like Over in the Flash, you've got like these few at the bottom. But again, I mean, you could legitimately run them because you will be able to share stuff like Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, some good links. Yep, that's the team that's basically doing it for them. Turtle School, of course. Earthbred, Mastered Evolution. Okay, so this unit can actually provide some great use. What is this unit kicking out? Same thing, Accelerated, let's see, Power Beyond, Earthbred, Turtle, yeah, Kamehameha. Could be some really good stuff there, so that's actually not so bad. But yeah, so I think it's a decent free-to-play unit all around. There's just no doubt about it. He has good links, he's got a good passive, his stats are actually pretty fair, but he's not busted, but he can look after himself. Now, how would you build him? Well, additionals really. He's not going to be the most offensive fellow in the world, but additionals because like he gets 50% per super attack from his effect, plus he has a 50% chance to stun, which is fairly reasonable when it comes to Super Battle Road, considering you can get 200% for this guy now at Kamehameha or Pure Saiyans. So, or even Turtle School. So, you can actually have them on that. And when it comes to Super Battle Road, if you put him in slot 3, you probably could rely on him. Like, put additionals in for the supers, never mind the stuns, plus his 60% chance to dodge, 30 under a certain HP. It's still reliable, so you could still get away with it. Could I do a video? Probably could. But, I mean, he is going to be pretty decent. And across the recent free-to-play EZAs, this is actually one of the better ones that we got. I mean, we check out like the Super Saiyan 3 category now, and suddenly the Super Saiyan 3 category is becoming absurd. Look at that top line. So we got the new super unit, great. We have Gotenks, who is absurd. We have the LR, who is actually quite a juggernaut. The New Year's Super Saiyan 3, the first ever Super EZA, who is the strongest EZA unit, if not the strongest Super Saiyan 3 as well. Then you've got some other pretty decent units on there, like for Super Saiyan 3. The in Bardock Conceal, and there's a full 170% lead. So there are a few other legitimate options on this. So suddenly this team, I might just bring up the Extreme Super Battle Road, because when it first came out, it was a bit touch and go, because we didn't have half of these units, and they certainly did not have any EZAs. So that will be an interesting one to revisit. You all have a good, easier time, these newer players, right? You only just attempting this for the first time. You have a much easier time these days. Anyway, so that's enough on him. So the next one is we got this guy. So it's a battlefield reward. Is it worth the nearly 500,000? Well, let's find out. Sworn enemies, 130%. It's interesting that they're trying to push GT Cell and GT Freezer from hell. Interesting, because there's been 2 units, the AGL and Physical, of these guys that EZA'd late last year. So they're definitely pushing this. Anyway, we have an entrance animation. That's going to be interesting. That might be a cool one. So we get Key 5, 40% to stats, only 40, and a 30% chance to dodge from the character's turn, assuming we have a Sworn Enemy's Revenge or GT bosses upon the enemy, upon the entering turn, which honestly is probably about right, because you would run him on Revenge or GT bosses. So that's nice. I swear, if he's not on any of these categories, I'll be stupid. So we have 3 key 140%. Okay, so that goes to... So what you'll find is that's not 180%. That's 140% with 40% off that. So you're looking at around about 50% actually, because 50 would be 70%. So you're getting about 50-55% to stats extra on top of that actually. You get 70% to attack and defense on attack, of which your super attack, so your 12 key, 30%, 50% chance to stun, and your 12 key greatly raises, that's a 50% buff, extreme allies attack, 30% for 2 turns. That's actually good, because, I mean, you could, if you can't quite get the 18 key, you can still go for the 12 with a 50% chance to stun. That's actually pretty good. So you get quite a lot of stats on attack. Sworn enemies, Revenge or GT bosses, 2 key, 30% defense, probably the right way around. 50% chance to crit when there's an enemy who is the good guy Goku. Okay? So Youth, Ginyu, Black is all excluded. Chance of dodging plus 20%. Super effective against all types when the target is stunned or sealed. You do actually have a stun, so if you did do additionals, you would indeed be able to have a dodge and super effective. That's nice. Chance to dodge plus another 20%. And another additional super attack when you're in attack down or defense down. Okay, What I like about this unit is, now this assumes on the links, there's on categories, let's have a look. GT bosses. Okay, so this is easy because best case scenario, you have the LRAGL Shenron, who is by far one of the best GT units going. He's a 200% for GT bosses. He seals on his super attack and passively lowers attack and defense. So you're giving this unit 40% to dodge, a guaranteed additional super attack for which will raise your stats. And then you're also getting super effective against all types. So this unit is becoming quite a monster. So in this particular case, yes. If you don't have the 200%, you could still rock most of that because GT bosses, all the Shadow Dragons by large, passively lower attack and defense. And there's a bunch of other units that can stun or seal. So it's not as if you can't get that. Because like the AGL Cell and the Physical Freezer, they both stun or seal respectively. So again, and they probably would be the best counterparts for this, the best linking partners. Being a 2-key 30% defensive support as well is really good because it's the right way around. GT bosses could do with all the help it can get still. So this is actually not so bad. 40%, you get 40%, 140%, you get 40% and 5 key on top of that, which is nice, and then an extra when attacking. And it's not as if the super attack effect is rubbish. Greatly raise, but you get extreme class allies, or 30% raise with a 50% chance to stun. We have an active skill, nice. Enemy includes Goku, starting from the 4th turn or just 6th turn period. Greatly raise attack temporarily, and guarantees the enemy seal for 1 turn where applicable. So that's nice. So you can do that. You greatly raise attack. You seal. If the person, remember when you seal, you become super effective against all types. Not only that, but you're guaranteed an additional super attack for being attacked down and defensive down. Most likely from, just from having someone else on the same turn, because a lot of the GT bosses tend to do that passively, namely the Shadow Dragons. So speaking of links and partners, what do we have? Brutal Beatdown, Shocking Speed, GT with the best thing here, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, Otherworld Warriors, and Legendary Power. So for the most part, you'll get the top row and Legendary Power. So it's quite often you'll get quite a lot of links going out. So that's actually pretty decent. The beefiest units are going to have big bad bosses or Thirst for Conquest or Shadow Dragons, so that'll be something. But GT and Shocking Speed with Legendary Power will play quite nice. So Otherworld Warriors gets a fine boost, target Goku, GT bosses, and Revenge. So Ver in particular gets a pretty decent buff should you have the currency to go for it, which could be nice. They are expensive. And currently we can only get 1, but it's actually not so bad. What do we have here? So best units is, there's a few. So it's this units because of the amount of teams, and we can have GT bosses with target Goku. In particular, Brutal Beatdown, Shock Speed, GT, and Nightmare at the top row, as we said, pretty much there. The free-to-play Battlefield LR, the other one, not the most recent, which is Hatchjack, the one before. Again, Legendary Power, Fear and Faith, GT, Brutal Beatdown. GT is a big link here, 2-key 10% stats is really nice. This guy in particular, 200% for GT bosses. He gets 2-key 30%, and in turn you'll also share 2-key 10%. You will also share quite a lot of attack, also more 2-key there. Transformation boost, GT bosses in particular, GT bosses gets a bit more fleshed out. These two who are really, not these two, this guy and the AGL counterpart in particular will fare fairly well as well. Some of the other ones, like for Shadow Dragon Saga, again, GT is going to be huge in helping out this particular one. So do you know what? Actually, I think this is good. Is this actually worth getting your currency in? Possibly. Do you know why it's good as well for other World Warriors and Revenge Target Goku? So there is a. Ooh, is it Fighting Legend Goku? Is it Fighting Legend Vegeta? There's a mission for other World Warriors. Now, having this could legitimately be the difference between being able to do it and not. So that could be good. There's also one for GT Goku for GT bosses. Now, again, this could legitimately be the deciding factor. He is not really going to be phased past the Great Ape phase. So he'll have type advantage in the second to last phase. So you could be able to crush that event with a bit more ease. So this unit has quite a lot of use going into things. Now, when we're talking Super Battle Road, GT bosses will be a walk in the park. Join forces, you could probably slap him on. Transformation boost, you could find a team. Revenge and Target Goku could definitely appreciate the support. Revenge is definitely difficult, no doubt, but there's been a roster of Easy A's which could definitely help. But no doubt the presence would be huge. So honestly, that's really good. You know, it's interesting how the two units on here, there's definitely, oh, here they are, yeah, here they are. No, I changed my mind. So like these in particular, they have an Easy A. And this guy as well has his Easy A. So these two are actually pretty good. So they'll be a decent partner. But anyway, yes, that's what we got for now. We have a decent free-to-play LR who is probably on the expensive side, but worth it. And we have a pretty decent, one of the oldest ever free-to-play units period going, if not the first ever. And also pretty good. So these are well and truly a good thing to do. So get them done. They're free to play. They're very easy, quite powerful. I like them. You can say otherwise. But thank you very much for watching. I've been the Normal Player Guy. You've been a lovely set of sausages. And I'll see you next time on the next one. Thank you and bye-bye.